Okay. See if everything is working. Pick this up a little bit. Okay. So, I'm going to be doing a Palace of the Dead run. Ideal, we're going to try that to sprout with the Necromancer title. That's funny. But yeah, I'm going to try to go in with minimum item level. This is as low as I could lower it, because I needed my armor to be at least one more level to lower it all the way to 0. But 10 and 9 is not that much, especially since probably for the first 10 floors I'll avoid silver chests. But the whole idea of what I'm trying to do here is to just kind of show, just kind of give you an idea of what it would look like, because the guide just gives a brief overview of things you should do, whereas if you want more details or more information, just see how things go for their grander scale of trying to do solo. Now, this isn't going to be me going all the way to floor 200. I mean, I'll try. I'll certainly try. I don't think it's going to happen, especially with how this month's been going for me. But we're going to give it an attempt. Go ahead and reset that, and let's get into it. Fixed party. Enter alone. And we'll be starting on floor 1. So, a few things to note with us starting is that, of course, we're not going to have our abilities, and since we're doing the solo, I'm going to go ahead and take out the sustain potions, since you would not have those as a new player. I'm going to go ahead and equip these normal potions, because that is something that you can realistically have. You can buy all the, high-end potions, or all the, potions you want off the market board and things like that, and the normal enemies are just going to drop these. Another thing to keep in mind is that you can use, I don't have any good, I have some carrot pudding. You can use food, you're not going to get the stats from it, but you will get the HP. That is something nice for these early floors. You don't really have to care. There's something to keep in, my camera is out. So these early floors are really easy. You shouldn't really have a problem with it, especially it's going to be, like I said in the guide, just killing every enemy you see on the floor to get as many levels as you can, while also picking up as many aetherpool, or not aetherpool, but, well, yes, you want to try to get as many silver chests as you can, and pick up as many gold chests as you can to get the palm menders, which you'll be taking advantage of. Now, as you see, I've already stepped on a trap, which, again, this is not really much of an issue early on. It's really when you start to get into the later floors where the traps start to become really dangerous. Like this one just decreases our damage and makes us take a little bit more damage, but nothing's really going to be doing enough to actually hurt us. As for the palm menders, we've gotten steel, witching, nothing particularly interesting to talk about yet. Steel lets you take less damage. It's more useful for bosses for right now. Much later on, you'll have to use it to survive enemies, but nothing of import as the moment. Witching is a bit more useful, especially if you step on luring traps, which will spawn 5 or 6 enemies, sometimes more, sometimes less. And they'll all aggro on you. You can witching them and then turn them into defenseless animals that you can then be able to handle a lot easier than just the enemies normally. So these witchings are going to be one of your oh crap buttons. So just always know where this is and be ready to use it. Again, nothing really important early on. This is usually going to be more useful as you get later on, especially to deal with those luring traps. Or treasure rooms, which is something that we might discuss a little later on. Intuitions, these are solely for collecting items. They reveal hidden chests on the floor. Potentially, there's not always one. And yeah, they reveal the hidden chests on the floor. You get them, and then you can exchange them once you complete the area. That's just completely optional. Nothing really important. You can use those whenever you want, but the higher you get into floors, the more, the better the rewards that you'll get from it. So right now we'd only get the bronze bags, which have some mediocre rewards. And the best rewards are going to be on like the later last 50 floors with the platinum bags, which is where you can actually get the Nightmare Pegasus, which is the big ticket item that you can get from House of the Dead. The other, we just got this, which is Flight. That just simply makes it so you require less enemies to move on to the next floor. So if you look up here, we have this key and this flower, or I don't know what you would call it, a tree. I guess it's more of a tree. This tells you how close you are to unlocking the next floor. This tells you how close you are to unlocking the resurrection. Solo, this thing's completely useless to my knowledge. I could be wrong, but I think useless solo. This is a bit more useful later on, so you know exactly when you can leave. But again, these early floors, we're just going to be killing everything to get as many levels as we want, so we don't really have to worry about it. So there's the silver chest that increases your aetherpool and arms. Again, because I wasn't able to fully reset, I'm gonna like avoid those for the first 10 floors, since I'm already capped for these first 10 floors. So yeah, normally you'd want to pick those up. I'm not going to, just because I want to avoid it to show off. Just make it harder on myself to show how easy this can be done. And while I am doing this as Machinist, Machinist is probably the best job to do it as a beginner. Especially if you're trying to do it solo. If you're trying to do it solo for the first time, Machinist is going to be probably the best job to do it. Just because being ranged means you can better kite things. You're going to have a bit an easier time, because worst comes to worst, you can just keep running away. Hence, that's what kiting is. But generally, that's another annoying trap. This basically means we can only auto attack, so we'll just stand here for a second while I talk about a couple things. Other good options, because you can't get access to Machinist until Heavensward. So if you wanted to do it before you got into Heavensward, maybe while you're still going through a Realm Reborn, another good option is going to be Red Mage. Red Mage is a bit weird because you actually do have to do some hard casting. It is one of the better ones, like one of the stronger ones to actually go for the full 200. But it could be a bit more difficult as a new player trying to do the solo. Another good option is going to be Summoner. Summoner has that mobility and power, so it's going to be strong. Summoner is a really good choice. The only downside to using like Red Mage or Summoner as options, though, is that they don't have an interrupt, which will mostly be important for mimics, which is something we might see. So occasionally when you open up chests, you can get a mimic, which is just a hard-hitting enemy that can be very dangerous. But in these early floors, the only chests that can be mimics are the bronze mimics. So you don't have to worry about that if you're opening the silver and the gold. But as you progressively get through the floors, this will change. Eventually, the silver chests will start to become mimics, and then the gold chests will start to become mimics. Again, there's another silver chest. You should be picking those up, but because I'm wanting to refrain from picking up any aetherpool, at least for the time being, I'm not going to, but you should always pick that up. So let's talk about, like, while we're just going through and killing things, let's talk about a couple more of the aetherpool, or the commenters that we've gotten. Strength increases your attack power, just useful for clearing faster, along with, again, bosses, which we'll discuss later. Lust, it's, again, useful for bosses. It builds up a stacking, pick up the silver chest, stacking debuff on an enemy up to 5 stacks. It makes them take more damage. It's also a really good source of AoE. Say if you get a luring trap, or you just want to AoE a bunch of enemies that you pulled together, Lust is a good way to do it, because their normal attack just does a lot of AoE. So it turns you into a succubus, which you can actually get rid of by just clicking off the debuff, which is something we might show a little later. Again, make sure to pick up those silver chests when you see them. But for now, we're just going to try to keep going through the floors. Pick up as many things as we see. Witching. Side note, again, like I said, the traps aren't that important early on, but a good practice to get into is hugging the sides of rooms, because generally your traps are going to be like basically in kind of this middle area. It's not to say that walking around the sides you're always going to miss the traps, but it just decreases the chances of you actually walking into them. Okay. Oh, and now we have a buff floor. So occasionally you enter a floor and you'll get buffs or debuffs. For example, in this floor, we have more HP and MP. Like I said, these can be both positive or negative, and some of the negatives can be really negative, and some of the positives are usually okay. They're nothing amazing. It's really the negative ones you need to be worried about. Okay, it's not giving us any of the new ones. So you can only hold up to a maximum of 3 of the Pommanders, and so you don't have to, but generally, like when you get to 3, you can just use one. That way, once you get a new one, you can just you'll have it refreshed. What I like to do, and I think is just generally better practice, is just use it when you get a new one. So, like for example, if we get another steel, since we're at 3, we wouldn't be able to pick it up. So when that happens, I'll just use the steel and then pick up that one that we wouldn't be able to otherwise. It'd make more sense when it actually happens. And maybe this would be a steel and it'll make my life easier. Nah, it's a strength. Yeah, there's not much really to say about these early floors. None of the enemies are particularly dangerous. There's nothing really special to note. These should be the easiest of the floors for you to do, which actually, you know, further helps with actually clearing things. Because if you want, once you clear the first 10 floors, you can just, your progress will be saved in that all the aetherpool that you get from the silver chest, any pot shards that you might get, which you can obtain from bronze chests, which we haven't seen yet, will be saved on that 10th floor after you beat the boss. So if you wanted to farm aetherpool, that's a way that you could do it. Now eventually, now you can't do it infinitely. You can only get aetherpool up to a certain amount. Eventually the chest will just like stop giving you the upgrades to say that you fails or something along those lines. But it is something you can do if you're struggling. Because again, these first 10 floors shouldn't be that bad. Now, we just got there was an affluence. What this does is increase the number of chests on the next floor. These you'll just generally want to use once you get them, at least early on. There's some reason that there are some reasons why you wouldn't want to use it later on, because it also increases the chances of getting a treasure room, which are, you know, pretty dangerous, but later on, but early on, it's actually kind of beneficial because you do want to fight more enemies, which is actually kind of why you don't want to avoid the traps in these early floors, because if you can, ideally the best thing to happen is that you actually land on a luring trap, because that's actually a massive amount of experience that you'll get early on. Ideally, like for machinists though, you kind of don't want that to happen until you get your AoE, so I should be a bit more careful, but it's just something to keep in mind. But I mean, we have a witching, so if we really needed to, if we stepped on a luring, we could just witching and then lust to get the experience. It's not that big of a deal if it did happen. Sight, that lets us, that reveals the whole floor, or the little map up there, along with also revealing any traps on the ground, which is, you know, can be definitely, is obviously useful, because those traps can be very debilitating, especially on certain floors. Okay, strength. So what I was talking about now. So you see, we can't open this chest because we're maxed out on strength. So what I can do here is I use the strength, we get the buff, and now we're still maxed out. So we get the buff, and we still have all our strengths. Okay, double the strength. That's gonna help us clear the floor a bit better, a bit faster, because we're gonna be doing a good amount of more damage. And thankfully, that should last us until the boss, meaning, you know, it's going to make that even easier. Again, nothing is particularly that dangerous in these first 10 floors, so you can just kind of run around, attack enemies as soon as you see them. You don't have to worry about anything, you know, just murdering. How did I miss a chest in there? Oh, we might as well go back and get it. Fortunes. This just increases the chances of enemies dropping chests. This is particularly useful if you're trying, like we talked about earlier with the luring traps. You step on it, it gives you a bunch of enemies to spawn, and when you're going to AoE them down, it's a good idea to pop a fortune before that happens, because if you're killing a large amount of enemies, you get an increased chance of those chests, or those enemies becoming chests. So Something you always want to consider. Same thing if we run into a treasure room, which hopefully we'll do at some point tonight. Okay, I lied. So there are enemies on this floor that you want to be careful of. These hornets, they do cast Final Sting if you let them be alive too long, but that shouldn't be an issue. Just make sure not to aggro multiple enemies, or if you do with those hornets, just make sure to kill them first. As long as you're not like fighting multiple hornets at a time, though, it shouldn't be an issue. But yeah, you do need to be somewhat careful of them because they do Final Sting, and while it doesn't, I don't think it technically one-shots you unless you're, I don't think it'll one-shot you at full health, but it'll bring you down to like 10%. So yeah, with any wasp enemy, you always gotta be careful of that Final Sting. Bronze chest. This can give you potions, which if you noticed, enemies have been dropping, which I don't think it, yeah. So normal enemies will drop the potions that are relevant to your floors. So, you know, these are the floors that's going to heal a good amount of HP for this early on. It's a good idea to get these and have it on your bar. This is going to be your main source of healing if you're not playing a job that inherently has healing like Red Mage. Now, these bronze chests, it'd be funny if this actually works. These can give you the potions, this like this too. They can also give you the pot shards, which if you get those, you're really lucky. It's going to make it significantly easier for you to do anything. And they can also, lucky, they can also turn into mimics. Now, you do have to be careful of mimics because they do hurt, but they also give a significant amount of HP. Now, I do want to show something with these mimics. They have a very special attack that you need to be very careful of. That's in that infatuation. What that will do is put a very dangerous debuff on you called Pox that will actually disable your regen and make you take a constant tick of dot damage. Now, thankfully, if you're playing a ranged... You suck. If you're playing a ranged job, or a tank, then you're going to have an interrupt. And no matter what level of the mimic, you'll always be able to interrupt them. And they do not use that ability more than 30 seconds apart. So what that means is if you're fighting a mimic, you will always be able to interrupt the infatuate. You don't have the infatuation. You don't have to worry about them inflicting you with pox as long as you're only fighting one of them, because they're never going to use it when this isn't on cooldown. As long as you haven't, you know, if you go into the fight having head graze, you don't have to worry about it. Now, early on for the bronze mimics, they actually can be stunned, and I think the silver ones might be able to be stunned as well. I don't know for sure, but gold and beyond, I believe, there's no beyond gold. But the gold mimics, when that starts to happen, they will actually become immune to stun, so the only way to deal with them will be with a ranged job using their interrupt. Or, again, tanks. Tanks can do it too, but generally you're not going to be playing a tank. I mean, you can. Warrior's actually not bad in the slightest in here. It's just most people go DPS. So, this is what I was talking about. This is like the combo where you'd want to be a bit careful because, you know, fighting two of them, you could very easily not kill one fast enough for that final sting, but taking them out by themselves, they're not that much of an issue. It's also at this point that we can start doing some chain pulling since we have our spread shot. And we might try to do that next floor. It also wouldn't be a terrible idea to actually just use a sight to try and fish for alluring. That is not alluring. That's funny that happened right when I said that, but that's not alluring. Also, since we're looking at our aetherpool, how the sinking works is it's like half your level or something along those lines. So, like the yellow just means your sink. That's obviously what it is. As you get more higher level, the more you're able to have. So, like, we're getting to the point where my armor isn't catching up to my level, which is kind of what I want. Because like I said, I'm going to try to avoid silver chests, at least for the first 20 floors, since I wasn't able to fully reset. And then, beyond that point, I'll start picking it up, because that's about... That should be what you realistically would have as a new player. Because I was actually really lucky with the amount of silver chests I got early on. Yeah, we have 3 steel, so pop the steel here and pick this up. Okay. Come on, give me alluring, give me alluring, give me alluring. Ah, darn. Safety, this is basically just the sight without the, without revealing anything. It's another trap remover. Just useful if you're scared that you can't make it to the next floor without, you know, triggering something. We're on floor 9. Haste. So this is probably... Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh well. It's not that big of a deal. Haste. This is one of the more useful of the bonus buffs. Just makes you faster, makes you attack faster, things like that. This is gonna be a bit risky, but just to show what I mean about the AoE is that, you know, you can just kite them. Most of them are okay, maybe not with this. Maybe not with these 3. Yeah. So once you get your like range, at least for these early levels, you can basically just keep walking through. And yeah. Because nothing's gonna hurt you enough to where you really have to be that careful. And never punish. We got our steel back. Okay, now we have the first boss. This is obviously every 10 floors, you're going to get a boss that does something different, different bosses, yada, yada, yada. Now, a good idea, if you have it, is, especially if you're kind of scared of how much damage the boss might do, popping a strength, popping a steel, it's a good idea. It's just going to make it easier, especially the steals. Lust isn't a bad idea for some of the more difficult bosses, just because it makes, again, you are inflicting them with a debuff that makes them take more damage. The quicker they die, the less damage they're able to do to you. Things like that. It's a good idea to... Let me make sure... Yeah, we'd have the high quality potions. So for the first boss, make sure that you have your potions on you. And, you know, pop your steel or strength if you need it. And then just get ready to engage it. Now, this boss isn't that dangerous. Nothing too special about them. Really, you just want to kite them around the arena, which is another reason why, you know, playing a ranged job is really nice, because you miss a lot of those auto attacks that they have. If you're playing something like a ninja, which is actually one of the stronger jobs to do, you'd have to eat a lot of those auto attacks unless you'd be taking more damage, which of course you do have a bit more HP and defenses as a melee job, but you're going to be struggling a bit more if you were to play melee than you would with, you know, a ranged job. Like, even like Bard's going to do less damage, but you're going to have an easier time just with avoiding damage. Now, that wind burn is probably the most dangerous part of this fight. But thankfully, we can just heal with either, you know, our second wind or our potion if we needed it. And that's the first boss. Which, yeah, nothing that bad. So it's at this point, like, if you make it past the first 10 floors, you can farm as much as aetherpool as you want. So you could leave here, reset, do the 10 floors, keep farming aetherpool until you feel confident. If you're struggling with the floors ahead of you, that is something that you can do. But it shouldn't be that big of a deal. I would say probably the hardest bosses are the 40 and 50. So it's something you can do, but I don't necessarily think it's necessary. So let's get straight into the next 20, next 10. Next 10, not 20. And these 10 floors are going to have some enemies that we actually need to be somewhat wary of. Specifically, again, I'm going to ignore these for the time being. Make it a little extra part of myself. Now, I don't think... one of the enemies, I believe, shows up about halfway through, while the other one is only dangerous if we run into a certain trap, and I'll talk about that as we see it. Things are getting a bit tankier. We can still probably just run around if we wanted. I don't think that, again, anything's going to do too much damage to us to where we really need to care. But we're at... Oh, another intuition. Same thing as the first 10 floors, though. We're going to want to kill everything we can, get as many levels as possible, because levels are really going to be what determines how difficult things are going to be. Because the more of our abilities we have, the faster things are going to die. And, yeah, it just makes everything so much easier. Like, I really cannot I can't even begin to express how important getting these early levels are. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still kind of getting over my, like, sickness that I've had for, like, the last week. Oh, I apologize for that. Yep, the snake is the enemy I was talking about. Yeah, so, there's a snake enemy that exists throughout the dungeon that has a very funny interaction, which I actually have a short on the channel going over. And I'll talk more about it when we actually get to the end. Oh, this is actually a treasure room. Oh, okay. Ugh. So, okay. Yeah, so let's show this off. So since this is a treasure room, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop a fortune. And I'm going to pull all these enemies. This is being a bit risky, by the way. And then I'm just going to use the switching. And then I'm just going to AoE the no. Remember to use your arm's length, because it actually is a tanking cooldown. Inflicts a slow on them, making them, you know, doing less damage to you. And now we're going to kill a bunch of enemies really quickly. And see, that fortune had them drop a silver chest, which I'm not picking up because, you know, like I said, I'm going to try to stay low at the pool. And we got a steal. We got a lot of experience. And these treasure rooms are just usually rooms with like a bunch of enemies. Oh, high potions. We can upgrade our potions. A bunch of enemies and usually like 4 or 5 chests. But yeah, a good strat with these rooms is to, you know, fortune before going into them because there's a bunch of enemies, and then witching and just AoE down. So we actually don't want to use a flight because that will reduce the amount of enemies that we need to kill for the next floor, and that's just kind of, since we're trying to kill everything, it's just kind of a waste. There's no reason to, and I think that, I don't remember if it actually decreases the enemy spawns on the next floor. I think it's just the amount that you need. I can read it. Oh no, it reduces the amount of them, so yeah, we don't want to do that. It's actually being very generous with those silver chests. Usually it doesn't give you this many. Well, it's random. I feel like sometimes it just doesn't want to give you any. Sometimes it likes to give you a lot. But yeah. A lot more generous than it normally is. Oh, I'm an idiot. Took the wrong turn. What are we still missing? That was an affluence. Alteration is something I kind of want us to get. That's something I want to talk about because that's particularly useful early on. We still got it. We still got to get the Manticore. We're not gonna get the Seraph. We're not gonna get the Raising, at least not for some time. What are the others? Oh, Pox removal. That's another thing about the Mimics that it talked about. The Pox debuff is lasts for 9 minutes. I didn't mention that. So it is incredibly debilitating, and the only way to get rid of it is through a Pomander, which we don't currently have. That'd be a Pomander of Purity. Hopefully we get one of those just so I can show it. But, well, I don't intend on letting myself get Poxed. That sounds like a horrible idea. Also, I've heard that there's a thing with the bronze chests where, I don't know if this is true. It's just something I've heard from multiple people. I've never actually tested it, and I've never actually been able to test it because I always forget to do it. But apparently, if you, for the bronze chest specifically, if you jump and it says you can't open the chest, that's not a mimic, like I just did there. Like I said, that might just be a Pals of the Dead Wise Tale. I don't know for sure. I've heard multiple people say it, but I've never actually tested it myself or had the opportunity to test it. Because anytime I've remembered to do it, it's never been a mimic. The toads can be slightly annoying enemies just because they do toad thing. Or, well, I thought they did toad things. Thought they pull you? Imagining things? I thought they pulled you. Might be later toads. Oh no, he just did the sound for it there. He was about to. But no, they're not. There it is. That could potentially be dangerous. But they don't do it immediately, which is where it would be. Phoenix down. Useless. Okay. I think we can start seeing the snakes now. Oh god, it'd be so depressing if it'd be very funny if I could show off the interaction. But it would be very depressing if I showed off the interaction. Hopefully we actually do at some point run into that so I can just talk about it. The trap, that is. Okay. Whoops. What is that? Oh. Okay. And yeah, the enemies can drop chests without the fortunes. It's just more likely to happen with the It's just more likely to happen with the fortune. And fun fact, mimics can drop chests. Mimics can drop chests, and those chests dropped by mimics can also be mimics. That's always a fun thing that can happen. So be careful. Just because a mimic drops a chest doesn't mean it's not going to be a mimic. Now, I don't remember what all the traps look like. I'm pretty sure that's Innervation, which is the one. Screw it. I'm just gonna step on it. Yeah, that's the Innervation trap. That's the one that we talked. This is the one that reduces damage. You can tell what a trap is based on the icon that it has, which, you know, we use that site. There's another trap over there. Hopefully it's not an Innervation, so I can kind of show that off. I hope it's alluring, because that'd be a really nice thing to show off. It is. It is just another Innervation. Wait, is it? No. Is it? Yeah, no. I thought so. Because there's two that look really similar to one another. There's like, or at least there's like two that I always confuse for one another. Okay. Let me make sure. Nothing is around. Because that's convenient that we got that, because I did want to show that off. What do we have in here? Oh, strength, actually. That's nice. Okay. Surprised we haven't run into explosives. The explosive traps tend to be like the ones you run into. So this, you notice it looks like a frog? Well, this is the frog trap. It turns you into a frog. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there is an enemy that, there's two enemies on these set of floors that you need to be careful of. The first one is something that I talked about previously, which is the snake enemies. And the only reason that those snake enemies are dangerous is because if you are unlucky enough to step on a frog trap, any snake enemy will one-shot you. Oh, and here's the other enemy you have to be careful of. So these are the palace slimes. These enemies have a soft enrage, and what that means is if you take too long to kill them, they will explode, wiping you. 100%, it will kill you. I think you might be able to line of sight it. I don't know that for sure. Just kill them. Anytime you see the palace slime, kill them as soon as possible. Don't play around with it. Yeah, they're the other enemy that you need to be careful of. They are not tanky, really. It's just, yeah. Be careful. They will kill you if you let them live for long enough. There's no surviving it. So this is the most... 1 second. Sorry about that. So this is probably the most dangerous of the floor types, and this is Gloom. What this does is it makes enemies faster. They take more damage. They deal more they deal more damage than take less damage. Be careful of this. It can be very annoying. Again, not really that much of a problem on these early floors. Nothing's particularly too dangerous. It's not gonna make... Oh, there's the snakes, by the way. So yeah, be very careful. Try to avoid fighting these in rooms, because you'll never run into a trap in these hallways. That's something to keep in mind. And as you get into the later floors, it's just a good practice to fight enemies into hallways. So instead of going in there to fight this, you'd want to pull them in here, because you can safely move. and things like that. But yeah, be very careful of those snakes. Might as well. Just because they will one-shot you if you happen to be a frog. So we use that intuition. That's going to reveal accursed hordes for us. We don't have any on this floor. If we did, there'd be an indicator up here, but we see the buff is down there telling us that it's still there. I guess we just missed that. Okay, high potions are still our current potion, best potion. Okay, we still have the area that we haven't explored, so because we want to get the experience, we're going to go back here and kill more things. Also, because I forgot a chest apparently in here. Oh, was that witching? I didn't forget it. I just, yeah. Again, there's the slime. We want to kill that first, just because, you know, got to make sure it doesn't explode. It is a decently generous timer. I think it might be like 20 seconds to kill it or something like that. I'm just saying that. I don't know for sure. But you have more than enough time to kill it before it explodes. As long as you actually prioritize it over, you know, other things if you're fighting multiple things. Now, if you decide to fight multiples, where it gets really dangerous is, like if you step on a luring and then multiple slimes spawn, that can be very dangerous. And you might want to consider witching, using a witching if that happens. But outside of that, like if as long as you're fighting them one-on-one, it's not that big of an issue. I also need to make note of okay, yeah, so you see this, there's an accursed horde on this floor, so symbol about that. So something I didn't mention when we were fighting those snakes is I believe the snakes are classified as a roaming enemy, which means that they aren't confined to a room, so they'll actually, or patrol, they're a patrolling enemy. They'll actually just go around the floor, moving between rooms, and that is something that you need to be careful of. Yeah, like, see? He's coming to this room over here. There's actually two of them. Are they both coming over here? They are both coming over here. So yeah, so they'll just go around the floor, and you gotta be careful of them. Make sure you don't get, like, ambushed by too many of them, or you get ambushed by them while you're fighting something else. Again, not that big of an issue early on, because nothing is too dangerous if you end up pulling multiple things of it. But as you get into the later floors, purity. That's the thing that removes the pox status from the mimics. But yeah, as you start to get into the later floors and things actually start to become pretty dangerous, you always need to be aware of those patrol enemies, because some of them can be incredibly dangerous, especially in the later floors. Like, there are some patrol enemies, like, in that 150 plus range that, like, if you see them, you just do not engage with them. Particularly, like, the ones that like to, like, dunk on you. And so it's okay. Yeah. So you see that pillar of, like, light over there? That is our accursed. I wanted to see if there's gonna be a trap in there because it'd be funny. That is our accursed horde. Now, funnily enough, you don't need a intuition to actually pick those up. So what all the intuition does is reveal it to you. So say I didn't use that intuition, if I was to go over there and stand on that spot like I'm about to do now, I would still be able to get it, but it would just be very lucky. You actually get an achievement for finding, like, so many of these accursed hordes without an intuition, because yeah, because all you actually had to do is just stand in the location for the chest to be revealed. You don't actually need the intuition. They can be gotten randomly. It just reveals it to you. It's probably one of the more annoying achievements to get because it's literally all luck. You just have to hope that you're standing in the right place to get one. Is that the luring? I know that's the enfeeble trap. I don't remember what the luring one looks like. The frog's easy because it's the shape of a frog. The explosion's easy because it's like an explosion. But like I always forget what the other ones are. Oh, fun fact about this. If you're playing a red mage or a summoner, you can actually bring echo screens, and this trap becomes significantly less debilitating because you can just take an echo screen and it'll get rid of the silence. Which I think you can actually buy them from the merchant outside Palace of the Dead too. I don't think there's any way to get rid of the pacification though. I could be wrong about that. Ah, crap. You suck. Thought you were dead. There's another patrol enemy over there. There's actually 2 of them. They're not that dangerous if I remember. Like I said, I'm pretty sure the slimes and the cobras are the only things that are actually dangerous. Because they can one-shot you, technically. Why are there so many patrols on this floor? It's so weird having Heat Blast without, you know, or no, it's so weird having Hyperdrive without Heat Blast. That's one thing that's always weird about going into Palace with Machinist. Don't you do it? Ah, you suck. Serenity, that's another new one. All that does is if the floor has an effect on it, you can remove it with Serenity. So like that gloom that we dealt with earlier, if you wanted to get rid of that, you could use a Serenity. They're very useful later on because some of the floor effects can be very debilitating. We have another Accursed Horde on this floor. Something we haven't seen yet is the fact that you aren't restricted to one effect for those 4 effects. You could have, say, Gloom, and you can't use items. That's a very annoying combination to get because your items are... Having access to your items is going to be your best tool of safety because if you step on a luring or if something starts to go awry, you can witching or... You know, later on we'll have a raising, which will, you know, raise you if you die. So, yeah. Having your items turned off is actually pretty debilitating. Debilitating. I keep adding like an extra syllable to that word for some ungodly reason. You suck. Okay. No, I said I'm not gonna do it until floor 20. It's tempting. But nah. And as for what you can get from the Accursed Hordes, like I said, oh crap, I looked away for a second. Good thing this isn't the later floors, otherwise that would have killed me. As for their Accursed Hordes, I'll probably show it after these 10 floors, but the rewards you get obviously depend on the type of horde, and the horde is like the type you get depends on the floors. So like these early floors, you're gonna get bronze. I think it's bronze, silver, gold, platinum. I might be imagining the platinum. I think it's just gold. I think. Anyways, there's like multiple tiers of it. The highest tier usually has like the mount for the area, whereas like the earlier ones will have things like I think the bronze can have like the coils of Bahamut, like glamour gear, and I think some of the primal weapons, a couple other glamours. I don't know. There's a list of like random items, but usually it'll be like the weapon, like primal weapons and minions and glamours and stuff. There's some nice rewards. This looks looks like a small floor. Actually, I should remain close to this thing because bad breath and whatnot. Yep. I should also point out that enemies in here have different aggro types. Like the snake is a sight enemy. So you saw how it just walked right past me. That's because I was technically outside of its cone of vision. That'd be particularly important. Aggro types are more important as you get later into the floors. Specifically, like with undead enemies and things like that, there are a good few like enemies throughout a palace that are like sound enemies. Meaning, if you were to toggle your walk, you can just go right past them. Specifically, like when I was talking about, like a really dangerous patrol enemy later on, the best way to actually deal with that enemy is to just either stop walking or walk past it, because it just won't see it won't aggro onto you as long as you walk. Or you could just hide behind a corner and let them pass you. So that's something else to consider. Okay. We're almost to the end of these 10 floors. And we're almost halfway to the max level of 60. Which, once you get to the max level of whatever deep dungeon you're doing, this is true for all of them, you can stop fighting every enemy. Like I said, you basically just keep fighting enemies until you reach that max level, at which point you only kill however many you need to get out. And like technically, if I really wanted, I wouldn't have to kill every enemy, because I'm pretty confident that I'm not gonna make any mistakes. I'm gonna eat my words if I finish that. I'm gonna say it anyways. I'm pretty confident I'm not gonna mess up any of the bosses. And so I don't need like any extra security of health and things like that. But yeah. I know string as well. Okay, come on. We're going on a trip. Don't you get in line of sight with me. Next boss is the plant, right? I'm trying to remember the order. Because I know it's the Hydra. I know the plant, the Hydra, and Ida. Who's... Oh, it's the ghost. Oh, the ghost is the 440 boss, I think. There. That's probably going to be the most difficult one with low aetherpool, just because you have to kill his ads very quickly. Oh, food's worn off. Also, again, remember to use food. These pizzas are old. You're not getting the stat bonuses from them, but you get the extra HP, which is very nice to have. I mean, you can't turn down extra durability. We get Heat Blast. Okay, one more level and I can actually start having fun with Hyperdrive. It's so boring without it. Again, you should be picking up those silver chests. I think if I was actually doing this normally at 0, I'd already be at like 15. There's been a lot of silver chests. Oh no, not necessarily, because they don't upgrade like both at a time. It only upgrades one at a time, but that'd actually probably be about where I am now. With like the 10-9. It gives us a lot of strengths. I mean, I'm not complaining. Wish it would give an alteration. I really want to show that off. And hit nudge nudge game. Well, I'll just use that on the way out. Also, rage would be nice to show off at some point. Yeah. The other two, the last two, I don't think start to appear until like floor 160 or something. Not 160. For like 60 or 100. I don't know for sure. Because the last two are like the angel transformation and raising. And I've never seen them show up in the early floors, but I also haven't done this too many times for that to be like surprising. Switching and hey, heat blast. There we go. This is a pretty small floor. Go ahead and re-up our strength. Because there's one right here. Moving on to the next boss. Which is the plant, right? I think 30 is the Hydra. Yeah, it's the plant. Same thing last time. Strength, steel, if you have it. This wouldn't be a bad boss for the lust if you wanted to do it, if you struggle with it. But other than that, it's pretty simple. Just do what we did with the first boss. Just kite it. Use the healing when necessary. Eventually, he'll go over here. Leaf Storm. We're going to use our potion after this. Okay. That's going to do a prey. This is going to put a line AoE on us. Okay, we want to kill these hornets as soon as we can. That's not the hornet. Now we go back to attacking the boss. Don't have to worry about the AoE since it's just going to be doing these baited lines. And now we just continue the kite. Go ahead and use our potion. That'll bring us back up to close to full. It uses a lot of baited AoE, so we don't have to worry too much with the auto attack damage. Another Leaf Storm. Whoops. I could probably just focus the boss, but to be careful, I'm just going to get rid of the hornets to be extra sure. And that's the second boss. That's probably a lot lower aetherpool than you should have. Actually, I don't know. I'm definitely not like, because it's, I think my aetherpool sync would be like 15 to 20. I don't remember exactly how it is. It's like half your level or some crap like that. Since we have the 2 bronze bags, I'll go ahead and show that off. So we can leave over here. You don't have to worry about this. You can always get back in. You don't have to stay in this area. If you come over here to this person right here, this is where you can turn in your bags. You know, we have 2 of these bronze ones. We get some boots. Both boots. That's kind of funny. And then we can always just go back here, enter, choose our save file, and back we go. So I don't necessarily remember, like, the enemies on this set of floors. I mean, I know which enemies are dangerous when I see them, so I guess I'll just do that when I do it. I remember floor 20 because I had to, it took me a bit to make that short, so I just remember, like, the slime and the snakes, like, so specifically because I had to run those 10 floors so many times to actually find a frog trap and a snake. That's convenient. At the very least, I don't think there's anything too dangerous until, like, at least the halfway. Actually, there might not be anything dangerous in these 10 floors at anything. I think at most the, like, boss is kind of annoying, especially if you're playing, like, melee. Like, this is... The floor 30 boss is probably the most annoying, like, if you were to choose something like a ninja. Because I actually did that, to respond to a comment. And, yeah, no, the Hydra kind of sucked. It was closer than I would have liked it to be. Which is, again, why I recommend playing a ranged class, because the ability to kite just saves you so much damage, especially in those boss fights. Hi, potion! Speaking of which, we can upgrade our potions to mega potions, as we saw. Okay, that's it. Well, things will get really fun when we get to level 58. Okay. I think Intuition's upgrade... They upgrade to silver at 4100? Or is it just 460? It might be 460 with a checkpoint. I don't remember for sure. Dullahans are roaming enemies. They're also undead, which I believe means they're sound enemies. They are, in fact, sound enemies. So you can, like, walk past them if you want. So if you see if we turn that off. Yeah. Yeah. General rule is if an enemy looks undead in some way, shape, or form, that usually means they're sound enemies and occasionally blood or health enemies. And what that means is, like, if you're low health, they'll aggro onto you. I don't know if that's true in Palace of the Dead. That might just be more so of a Bosja and Eureka thing. But, yeah, usually, like, undead enemies are sound, so you can just walk past them. And also, as a general rule, and this isn't always true, but it's true a lot of the time, a lot of the enemies that it kind of makes sense what aggro type they are. For example, I think like worm enemies are sound enemies just because, like, you know, they sense vibrations. Like lizards, they are side enemies. Like, if it's an enemy that looks like it would see you, it's usually like, oh yeah, it can see you. Like, I think the slime enemies might also be like sound. I don't know for sure. But that's, like, true for a lot of things. Where the aggro actually matters. Where the different aggro types actually matter. It's usually... You can kind of, like, figure it out. Just by using a bit of logic. Oh, there's something else that it'd be fun to talk about. Like an alteration, if I can get one, because I really want to talk about that. But, no, I'm actually gonna start picking up these now since we're on 430 and yep. But there's actually another special enemy type that we haven't run into that it's rare for it to happen. So, you know, I don't know if it's gonna happen. I want it to happen because wait, there's oh it dropped the chest. I don't want to do that. So I'll just go ahead and like talk about it. So occasionally you can find like special like zombie or NPC enemies. Like they're not normal enemies that appear on the floor. They're a bit higher level and they hurt a good bit more. They're about as dangerous as a mimic, and those enemies are like adventurers and things like that. And yeah, they're special enemies. They give more experience. Ugh. Yeah, they give more experience. You kind of need to be a bit careful of them. Not really, but that's just something to note. If you ever see like an enemy that looks different, that is something that exists. Something else to note, like if you're playing like a range job like that, is you can like use the heavy and things like that to make the kiting even better. It's something I don't take advantage of nearly as much as I should, but like yeah, like inflicting that heavy on him, he's just unable to like keep up with me, and so just does less damage to me. That's something again you can do is like playing with a range. Not really something you can do if you're playing like say summoner. That's something to keep in mind. Hey, rage! We're not going to use that this floor, but that's something I want to talk about a little later. Use that site. Hopefully we get like a treasure floor so I can talk about that. Not a treasure floor, a treasure room. And we got another. Oh, we have a site. Level up. Maybe surely. Okay. I think that was a witching. There's another frog. Which one's that? Oh, this is fun. So this is an explosive trap. For the record, that was really stupid for me to do, but I want to show that those off. So, explosive traps and explosive chests, which are something that can happen with, I think, any chest type, they just explode and they do 80% of your health. And that's always true. So, if you're below 80%, you just die. But as I showed there, it also works on the enemies, which is, funnily enough, a strategy. If, like, you say go into a big room and you just wanted to explode them. So, it's very dangerous for to do, but it's something you can do. I don't recommend it, but it's something you can do. It's also why it's a very bad idea to open chests while in combat. Because one, they can turn into mimics, but also they can explode and just kill you. So you gotta be very careful. I think it... Oh. There's a dollar hand. See, that's a good example of you gotta pay attention. I didn't see that there was a roaming enemy there, and now I'm in a somewhat dangerous situation. Oh yeah, they kind of hurt a bit. So like, funnily enough, like a situation like this, I could just, you know, bind him and then walk away. Of course, if I attack, then he'll be able to do it. But yeah, a situation like that, you get a little over your head, or you're just not paying attention. You can use, you know, what is it, ankle graze? Or foot graze, you know. Trap this one, lure the other one away. That way you don't have to deal with them both auto-attacking you. Another advantage to playing, like a ranged job. Oh yeah, I mean, might as well. So, I don't want to use it just to show it off because it is very useful, but the Rage Pomander, it turns you into a Manticore. This is your other oh crap button. Witching turns everything into harmless enemies. Manticore lets you one-shot basically everything, well, normal enemies. There is one exception to this, and that is if the floor has the negative effect of no knockback, then the Manticore will not do any damage. So you don't want to use it on floors where that is the case, because it just won't do anything. Something else to keep in mind is that you also can't open up chests or interact with things while you're transformed. So there's it dropped a chest. So yeah, if you're ever in a bind, Manticore or Rage is another thing to consider. Pomander Flight. I don't need you. Actually starting to hurt a bit. Okay, yeah, mega potions with the current potions. Lust. You know what? I might as well just show it off. Here's the Lust transformation. You see we have this fire, so like what we can do. So like we can do this. Gives the stacking buff. And so like if I want it, I can click it off. That's how that works. Again, really useful for like AoE. Also, I should note, because it's kind of rare, but if you do get pot shards, you can, you know, get the sustain potion. Yeah, the sustain potions. These are incredibly powerful. Perfect timing. These are just incredibly powerful healing tools. And a good strategy. What you can do is, because of how these work, are regens. I'll just show it off. When the frog ends. So, like, say if I were to use one and then go in... So, it gives me 30 seconds of a regen. So, if I was to, say, use that, then transform into the succubus, I would have that regen while I was in that form. So, that's actually a good strategy used with some of the bosses, because it helps you, like, survive, take some extra damage while you're kind of somewhat vulnerable in the transformation, building up those damage stacks. Something to consider. It's actually a powerful thing to do. In fact, it's just generally a good practice if you have access to them. If you do have a large amount of the sustain potions, to kind of do that anytime you lust, just because, you know, makes you a lot safer. Oh, look! A treasure... Oh, that is a cursed treasure room. I'm gonna be a bit cautious. I'm glad I was. Funnily enough, that's an funnily enough, that would have been bad. I'm gonna preemptively pop a steal here. I think I want to show it off like this. So we're gonna do this. So let's show off that rage. Same thing with like this. Like using it before going into this transformation will make me a lot more durable, since I can't heal. But yeah, this is how the rage works, and this would one-shot them even if I didn't make them helpless, but I would be taking a lot of damage if I didn't transform them. I also did what I always forgot to do, and that is I very much should have fortuned before doing this. Always try to remember to use a fortune before killing a treasure room, but I got lucky. They actually did drop a few extra chests. Which we can't open because we're that. Well, there's the exploding chest. So, yep, it's like always the silver chest. It can be any of the chests, but I feel like it's always the silver chest that like to explode. And hey, we got refunded on our rage. Phoenix down. That's a nothing burger. High potions. Kind of meh. The bronze chests are the ones that can give you the pot shirt. It can give you the pot shards. I shouldn't have used that there. So they actually are worth opening just for that reason alone. And yeah, there's an example of them. Hey, we got both our things refunded, never punished. So yeah. Like, we probably would have gotten a lot more chests if I had remembered to use a fortune. Like, I always forget to use the fortune before treasure rooms like that. And you really do want to make your best effort to do that each time, because it can drastically increase the amount of chests you get. Give me an alteration. I want to show that off. Gotta remember to use my rook. Lust, nah. Yeah, and actually technically there, it would have been better for me to do a lust instead of the manticore. I think it would have been more efficient, just because, you know, AoEing them down and having a second rage probably would have been a better thing. But I just kind of wanted to show off the rage. Also, it might have just been an idea to just spread shot. That I probably could have survived it. The rage was kind of unnecessary, but like I said, I just wanted to show it off. Okay. Kind of hoping they'd give me a pot shard so I could show that off too, but yeah, you get, like, the only way you get the pot shards is from the bronze chest. Well, you also get them like every 50 floors after beating the 50 floor every like fifth boss, I guess. It's hard to say the 50th floor, but it's like floor 50, 100, 150, there's not a boss for 200, but you get what I mean. I was trying to say, I was just saying it in the worst way possible. So you can, like, realistically farm the pot shards if you want to. Which is good, because you can get a mount with the pot shards. I think it's 12 for the disembodied head. Something along those lines, at least. Oh, okay. That is an enemy that you want to be wary of. Minotaurs, always dangerous. So they're the Cyclops enemies, meaning they do the untelegraphed attacks. Those hurt. Those do knockbacks. It's like the 1100 swing. The 1100 swing is like the small AoE. He does the really big cleave. Hey, Potsherd! Nice. Swing. So be very careful. They're your roaming enemies. I believe they're site-based. I don't know for sure. But yeah, you want to be careful of them. They can be very dangerous. They hurt a lot if you get hit by anything they do. So yeah. And like that's true for basically all of the deep dungeons. Like anytime you see the like Minotaur or Ogre enemies, always be careful of them. They're always going to hurt if you get hit by anything they do. What level are we? We're level 44. Yeah. That fortune was unnecessary. We already have one. Okay. Yeah. And the fact that they're roaming enemies, so now is kind of when the time you're going to want to start paying attention. roaming enemies specifically, it's a good idea to kind of keep your back turned. Because usually you'll know if it's coming from like the way that you're going. Because they can just spawn, is another thing. Just because you didn't see them previously doesn't mean they're not going to be there in the future. I think these Spriggans can be somewhat annoying because they give a haste buff, which can be mildly annoying if you aggro multiple things. Wow, that rock is literally saving your life. Okay, yeah, so it doesn't work. That time I jumped before it. Okay. That's the thing I've always heard, but I've never actually tested it, but it doesn't look like it actually works. Unless I just did it wrong. No, you stop that. Also, I don't know if I mentioned it, but mimics do give like a good amount of experience, so they are worth fighting. And like even later on, they're usually less dangerous than some of the other things that you might have to deal with. You stop that. I don't know. I knew that was a lost. I don't even know why I tried. Oh, this was that fortune. Yeah. Oh, hey, Una. That's an annoying one. The bank's down. What? There's a gold chest in here? No, in there. I'm an idiot. Okay. I think these Centurion, or that's not a Centurion, that's a Centaur. I'm an idiot. I think they can be somewhat dangerous. I think they're another one where they buff themselves in their auto attack. Yeah. I think their auto attacks can like get pretty dangerous with the once they use their berserk, so just be careful of that. Glitching. There's the exit. It does not want to give me an alteration. Well, since it's not going to want to give it to me, I'll talk about it. So what an alteration does is it makes it so on the next floor, one room will either be completely filled by mandragoras or completely filled by mimics. And so you just either have to deal with a room of mandragoras or a room of mimics. And what the mandragoras are is that they're just enemies that like die in one hit and give a crap ton of experience. Now, both outcomes are, you know, kind of perfectly fine, but especially in these early levels, because, you know, mimics by themselves, well, they're more annoying to deal with than the mandragoras, just because, you know, they don't die in one hit. They give about the same amount of experience, so it's worth it just for the, like, bonus. Oh, you just spawned. So it's worth it just for, like, the experience. And that's why it's like getting those early on is really nice. And even later on, it's not that bad either, just because, like, having a room full of mimics sounds horrible, but when, like, on the later floors you have, like, enemies that just one-shot you, mimics aren't that bad. You can deal with a mimic. Dealing with a flying bird that just wants to ruin your day, not necessarily something you can deal with. Like there are like enemies on the later like 50 floor, the like last 50 floors that just doing solo, you can't fight them if you're solo. It's like actually impossible. Like said bird will just murder you. And again, mimics are perfectly like manageable. They're significantly more annoying if you're doing like a caster, like I said, just because you can't interrupt them. You can't stop the pox. But like if you're playing, son of a. Well, there's the alteration. What floor are we on? Well, there's the alteration. So I guess I do get to show this off. It was waiting for me to explain how it worked. Well, at least I've shown everything off that I've wanted to show off, at the very least. Like these two, I don't... We're not really going to be able to take advantage of, I don't think. At least not anytime soon. Are you gonna explode? Okay. Yeah. Oh god. Oh, another thing to note is, generally speaking, and I think this is usually true, but the room that you spawn in, I don't think has traps usually. At least I have never had a trap spawn in the like your spawn room. Ah, we didn't get the Mandragore. Sad day. Yeah, so here is our alteration room. You see there's a mimic. There's a mimic. Come on, let me drink the potion. Because these, they do hurt. Serenity. Now we do have to wait a bit because head graze, you know, we don't want to get poxed, which I mean, I guess I could show off purity, but I'd rather not. We'll also say, if you ever find you feel that you're taking too much damage, don't feel bad about popping a strength. That's perfectly fine. You're gonna explode, aren't you? Okay. I don't trust them. I really don't. But yeah, that gave us a good chunk of experience. The mimics are nice. They hurt more, but I mean, it's a win-win for the most part. Okay. We're almost level 50. Wait, what do we get at level 50? Oh, your ricochet. Oh, good. Oh, so that's not a particularly dangerous enemy by itself. So what that enemy does... Oh, that's not ideal. Okay, we're good. So what this enemy does is, you know, this is your roamer, and this is really only dangerous if you engage it with other enemies, because what it will do, it is more so like a problem for like groups rather than solo, because what it does is it will use an ability called Chirp, which puts you to sleep. And if you're in a party, Usually what'll happen is if you engage multiple things, it chirps you, puts you to sleep, and then you get hit by an AoE, and it sucks. Thankfully, when you're playing solo, that's not as big of an issue because usually you get put to sleep and then just immediately get woken up because it auto-attacks you. Like, it's going to put me to sleep, it's going to attack me and wake me up. Like, as solo, not that big of an issue. With a party, it can be somewhat more threatening just because if you're, like, doing bigger pulls, like, that chirp is very annoying to dodge because I think it has to be line of sighted. Wait, there's a silver chest in here. Hey. No. Oops. Like, that would be a very annoying attack to get slept and then get hit by. Wait, what? Oh, God. I don't know how I keep managing to walk past these. Fortune. That's useless. Okay. Ooh, nice. Like that make things go a bit faster. That actually, maybe, yeah, if we're fast enough, that maybe should carry over. Serenity. And fun fact, it doesn't just get rid of the Serenity won't just get rid of the negative ones, it gets rid of all room enhancement. So if I use it now, it'd get rid of our haste. That's something else to consider. So if you get a floor that has a bad and a good, you're also getting rid of the good. Cool. Debating whether or not I want to actually go back and clear that room. The smart answer would be yes. Oh God, I didn't see you. Also should attack the other one with that crit. I didn't even see that chest. Yeah, nah. Smart thing would be to go back and do it, but I'm lazy. Unless, okay, nah. Game can't even like, give you the incentive to go do it. Are we actually going to be able to take advantage of that intuition? No, 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 we're not. Shame. Oh, wait. No, we are. It just took a second for it to spawn. Never mind. So, yeah, you also want to be careful if you're using intuitions, and, like, generally, you don't want to use them, like, when there's only a couple floors left, because you might just not get the use out of it. Like, we're incredibly lucky that it did just happen to be here on floor 29. In most cases... How did that miss? I genuinely don't know how that missed. Yay, there's sword. It's also good that it's increasing our armor. Oh, so this is the thing I was talking about earlier. See how this is just a guy? Yeah, this is the, like, rare enemies. They hit a bit harder. They give extra experience. Just a guy. See, he'll give a decent chunk. Oh, but we have Ricochet now. No, joking aside, that is like a noticeable damage increase. We do have to be careful with Ricochet, though, since it is AoE. You usually want to wait until they get close to you to actually start using it, because you can very easily pull more things than you might otherwise want to. Which is also an issue that you could end up running into with, Okay, I guess I'm just getting lucky and dodging it. Issue you can run into with Summoner. Thankfully, it's not as bad as it is, like, in the later levels, because their AoE gets massive. I don't think your summons do their AoE for some time. I don't even know if they can do their AoE in Palace. I don't remember what the level up for that is. But it is an issue, like, in the later deep dungeons. Oops. I didn't even realize. I just now realized that we had a buff on this floor. Took your time. Well, that was lucky. Oh yeah, I should also note that the traps do generally affect enemies too, because, like, he got the pacification there too. I mean, might as well. No! Really? Really, game? Wow, that sucks. Wow, that sucks. That is annoying. No, that's bad. That's annoying. Ugh. So, a fun fact. Yeah. God, that's annoying. Well, I want to show. I'm not restarting. Because I want to. This is supposed to mostly serve to help that. Yeah, that's really annoying. So, I have to. That pisses me off so much. I can't even begin to express how much that pisses me off. So, since this is mostly supposed to be a supplementary information to help with the Palace of the Dead guy that I currently have, I'm just gonna keep going forward. I wanted to go as far as I possibly could, but we're only gonna go to 450 with this run because while the game's just like, no, screw you. Why am I taking so much damage? Oh, there's two of them. That'd be why. Yeah. So, what that means, by the way, since the game disconnected me, that invalidates this run. So, like, I actually can't go... You know, I can't go beyond 450. Like, this isn't a problem for you if you're trying... Like, if this was to happen to you while you were trying to go through and unlock the checkpoint, I'm pretty sure you can do that. Like, it's letting me get through that. But, like, beyond the checkpoint, I think... Actually, it might even be until, like, 4100. You can just keep going forward, but like at a point you just cannot use that save anymore. So like this save, say if I was gonna go for like Necromancer, which probably not considering low aetherpool, I can't now because of that disconnect, which is really annoying. Because like that wasn't my internet or anything, that was just the game being the game. Like nothing I could have done to prevent that from happening. That's really annoying. Ugh. But anyways, let's try to... I can't even speed through the floors because we had to level. That's like 20 minutes of like half an hour of progress lost. Okay, I'm done. I'm done complaining. Oh, it's the scales that are killing me there. That's what's happening. Well, since I'm not gonna keep this run, because like I said, I'll depending on how like late it is when I get to floor 50, because I'm gonna go until 50 tonight, I might reset and do another run just to see. But yeah, this run's dead, so I'm just gonna use things to try to get through there. Where's the... Oh, it's right there. I couldn't find the silver chest. Yeah. That's probably the most infuriating thing that can happen to you in Palace of the Dead is just random disconnects like that. There's your old friend Dallahan over there. Oh no, that would be freaking infuriating if it happened like in one of the like last 50 floors. Like this was just mostly annoying because it happened on floor 29 of all things. I'm so tempted. What are you? Fortune, yeah. You said earlier. Oh boy, second purity. Yeah. I'm mostly being like I'm being quiet because it's like I've already talked about literally everything to do with these floors. I'm just gonna try to speed through them as fast as I can. It's like but I also have to still kill stuff because I need the levels. Ugh. You know, we'll show another application of the rage. It's just kill floors quickly. And we just run back and pick up the chests. Yeah, man. Ugh. You're not even in the room. It'd be really stupid to open this right now because, yeah, screw it. Hey, pot shard. I think I got my refunded my shard. No, okay, it was earlier floors. Cornerstone. Yeah. No. Eh. Of course. Actually, I'm not gonna complain. Good experience means faster I can actually go through this here. Okay, that almost got me greed. Nah. Okay, here. Yeah. Eh. Yeah, actually, like that disconnect got mildly destroyed by my mids up because I was ready to move on and talk about the next like set of floors, and now I'm just having to rerun through all this again. Yeah, we'll go and pop that strength again. I'll speed up things a little bit more. Now, the fact I'm also almost halfway through makes me think I was being overly cautious with those first set. Oh, I love the palace music. Like, yeah, the palace, like all the deep dungeon music, are great. Just because like always hear like a song that you just don't remember from the game. Like a lot of people, I don't think would like remember the Pharisee song because it's not a dungeon that you give me a break. It's just not a song that like you hear much because you don't generally run that dungeon all that much unless it's just randomly get it in your 50, 60, 70 roulette. But it's such a beautiful song, and I think that's a lot of cases with a lot of like those 50, 60, 70 dungeons. They're just the really good songs that you just don't hear unless you like do Palace. And like that's one thing I loved about Orthos is the fact that they had like all the Pulse songs. That actually like genuinely surprised me. This is actually a good example of what would be like a really annoying pattern of just 3 patrols in a row. Thankfully, like Mentars aren't that bad. They hurt, but they're not that. 4 patrols in a row. My bad. Yeah, they're not that bad though. They just hurt if you actually get hit. Which I might because okay, now they're dead. Did I open you already? You're witching. I shouldn't have used that there. Oh well. Come on, pot shard. No. Experience, actually. I'm not going to complain too much. Okay. Slowly but surely getting back to where... A thought just entered my mind, and I am not putting that evil into the universe. Yep, I could hear you thumping. Might be one over there, actually. You little incarnate of evil. Darn. Launch. Oh, I thought my turret was the enemy for a second. I don't trust my luck. Okay. I thought there was a good 70% chance that thing was going to explode. Eh. Oh, pleasant. The gloom has spread. Just to be careful. Like I said, I don't gotta worry about conserving my resources because this is a dead run. Halt. You just spawned out of thin air, didn't you? Oh boy, another purity. Just what I needed. Yeah, that indicator looks so weird, like because of like the glow of the purple for gloom. Red, or red. I don't know why I said purple. I have no clue where the song would be from. Ah, I entered myself into a conundrum here. Bonk. Okay. Die. almost back to where we were. Yay. To quote Una, we gotta love this small indie company of a game. I'm not bitter at all. And I can't complain too much. It'd be a lot worse if like, oh, that's the most annoying one. Yeah, that's really annoying actually. Be a lot worse if like this was like, oh yeah, a necromancer run. It's not. This was never intended to be that. I'll try it. Like that might continue to try to do streams. I think since I'm still just having good. I think what I'm going to do is I want to do a stream for each of the deep dungeons, just so, like I said, there's that this extra resource for people that want to watch the deep dungeon guide. So I think that'll be what the next couple are. Like I think the next one probably be Heaven on High, and then Orthos, and then I might come back around and actually try to do some full solo runs. I think that might be fun to do. But I've seen that there's like increased interest in Palace of the Dead, and you know, while having, you know, the guide I made is fine, I think for a lot of people just having like able to see the entirety of something would help them out, being able to see like the idea and the methodology behind like the stuff that I'm doing, or yeah, just having that for extra information I think would be helpful. And so that's kind of why I had thought idea of doing this. Same reasoning for why I think at some point I'll do a stream going over how to solo blue mage treasure maps and dungeons and things like that, just because being able to, like, while the guides work, just being able to see like me doing everything live in an action, just being able to do that, I think would help answer a lot of questions people might have, or sort of being able to like see things that they may have missed or maybe misunderstanding and things like that. Or possibly if people have questions, I can answer them as well. I'm a frog, I'm a frog, I'm a frog. I'm a frog, I'm a frog, I'm a frog. I'm a frog, I'm a frog. You're dead. Okay. So yeah. Next stream is going to be the achievement of farms for tomorrow, the FC farm, or the FC event. The words, they're escaping me. And after that, we'll probably do another stream. We'll probably get back to our regular schedule, meaning I'll do that Heaven on High stream Monday, probably. And then that following Friday would be Orthos. At least that's probably what I imagine I'll end up doing. Then after that, I don't know, I might do a poll to see if people want me to keep doing like these like guide streams where I just provide extra context to my existing guides, like do solo blue mage maps. That could be like a stream after that, or if like just doing, actually trying to go for that one of the titles, like Necromancer, Lone Hero, the Once and Future King, which, to be fair, of the three, Once and Future King is probably the one that I want to get the most. Like, Necromancer is the most prestigious of them. It's the hardest to get, but I also think it's just like the most boring, like title-wise, because I don't know. Like, I can't use that. Like, the main reason I use the Crystal Keeper tag isn't because it's like prestigious. Like, I got really high rank in PvP. I just like Crystal Keeper as a title. It's just nice. Same way I liked the like when I was wearing my Bosja titles. Like, I liked them, but they were also somewhat prestigious. I think like the Ancient Future King is the only title like that I can think of at the moment that I'd want to replace Crystal Keeper with. Then again, there might be others. It's just the only one I know of because there's like a crap ton of titles that I didn't even know existed. And most of them are really annoying to get. Hey, look, we're back to where we were like 30 minutes ago. I hate this game sometimes. Oops, oop, nope, 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 don't do that. Got to disable my auto target in the settings before I come in here. I usually do that because auto target can get you in trouble in here. That was a dumb choice. Well, I'm fine. Hell, we might not even hit 50 before the boss. I love you, game. Thank you. Thank you for that. Regen faster. I don't want to actually... I do not want to step on an explosive trap and just die again. That would make me very, very... Well, I didn't die again. I get disconnected. But I'd be a very sad, sad, sad man. Oh, hi. Oh, God. Don't hit me. Okay. We're actually gonna be like just under, aren't we? That's very annoying. What I get for skipping a room back there, I guess. I didn't get as lucky as I did with those original. Oh, wait, never mind. Okay, the game is taking pity. Or, you know, making up for its sin earlier. Okay. Okay. So we actually get to do the boss now. It only took us an extra hour. And not salty at all. Anyways. Say hello to the floor 30 boss. The Hydra. I'm not gonna say his actual name. This one I'm definitely gonna recommend doing a strength and a steel. This man can, his auto attacks definitely do hurt. And so this fight's one of the more annoying ones. So what we're gonna do, start out as normal. We're just gonna kite the boss. at all possible. And we're just going to keep going around the arena. So, the thing about this boss, other than the fact his auto attacks hurt, is that he's going to, you know, throw down these AoEs. So he's done one ice and one fire so far. There's the other fire. And now he's going to do an ice. So when that happens, he's immediately going to run to the middle and start casting Fear itself. So this is actually a donut AoE that it doesn't show you. But if you're not in the boss's hitbox, then you'll be feared. And that's what's going to get you killed in this fight if you don't know about that. So, yeah, and it's going to repeat. Auto attacks hurt. So just keep going around. He'll do, another set of 4. So we're on 2 now. There's the ice. We go to the middle. Ugh. Cutting this a bit close. No, I'm gonna have to do it. Yep, nope, I had to do it. So, unfortunately, because... Yeah... Nah, I had to use this in standing. That's unfortunate. This is by far the most annoying of the bosses, and... It's partially because of how low I've let my aetherpool get. Like... In that original run, I had 2 more in the armor, and that would have been enough, probably, to make up for that. I also could be using a higher level of potion, or a lower level of potion, maybe be added up for that, because... But yeah. I'm also just not playing this right. But yeah, no, this is definitely gonna be the most like the biggest roadblock for you. And if you're gonna farm, aetherpool, it's gonna be for this boss. Like the last 2 isn't that big of an issue. I could have kited better with my sprint, and I wouldn't have had to use the sustaining. It would have lasted the extra like seconds. And another thing is, I could have also just I need to be moving. I could have also just moved up to the X potions, which I think actually might be more relevant now, actually. But also, you know, I probably should have been like ideally a level higher too. Because I did skip a couple rooms back there because I want to go faster. So I did use the sustaining there, but that's just because I had to do this twice. Good. But yeah, I'm not kidding when I say that's probably going to be the hardest like roadblock for you when it comes to doing line reference. That's going to be the hardest roadblock for you when it comes to doing the first 50 floors solo. And that's mostly only if you have low aetherpool. Like, I would have been a lot better off if I didn't skip like the first 20 floors of silver chests. So if you, as long as you're getting your silver chest and you're just not getting unlucky with them, you'll be fine. Also, if you don't rush the floors, because I there's a couple floors where I think I skipped a couple rooms or I didn't fully explore. Because I think normally I'd be at around level 52 here, and those extra levels definitely do make the difference. Because for reference, that would give us okay, no, we wouldn't get anything else useful, like damage-wise, but we would get, we just have extra XP and defenses. You know, I should actually pay attention. it's getting hot in here too. That doesn't help. I need to open my vent. Another thing of note that I could have done that would have made that a lot better is that actually is a fight where you can lust, and the boss would have died a lot faster too. That's another thing. There's a lot of mistakes that I made on that boss. But yeah, keep in mind that again, my aether pool is actually pretty low for what you probably should have at this point. Oops. I'm just being dumb. I'm throwing! Nah, I'll be fine. I'm just being a little... Oh! That's another issue. Another mistake I made. My food fell off, so yeah, that's another extra layer of durability I didn't have. So, to explain all the things that I did wrong with that Hydra, because I should have used food. I shouldn't have skipped. I should have probably had at least one more level on me. I should have lusted. And you're going to have more aether pool than me, so yeah. Just for that boss, as long as you just remember to go to the middle every time after the 4th AoE, you'll always be fine. It shouldn't ever be an issue. It will suck, like, if you're playing a melee job like Ninja. Like I said, when I went through here one night with low aether pool Ninja, definitely struggled with that. Yeah. But any other time, it's never really been an issue. Though I will say, when I did it with Ninja, while it was sketchy, I didn't actually end up using a sustaining potion for that one when I did it. So, yeah. If you play it better, How did I manage that? If you play it better, it shouldn't be that big of an issue. Plus, it shouldn't be that difficult to have a hot shard by this point. Like, oh wait, I can just do this. I definitely recommend any pot shards you get early on turn into sustaining potions. See, I don't think there's anything particularly dangerous on these set of floors. Though these floors are where we're going to be able to start speeding up, because we should get our last few levels relatively quickly. Oops. Okay. Succubus! What is this, treasure? No, this is just a room with a lot of enemies. But specifically, things are gonna get a lot faster when we get 7 more levels, because when we unlock Drill, like, we'll just start deleting enemies. Auto crossbow! Which, funnily enough, actually is a really good tool for dealing with, like, if we had to witch it, like, you could very quickly auto crossbow an entire room down rather very safely. Like, it is a lot of AoE damage, actually. Just because of how fast it is. Hey, affluence. Mind over there. Let me start heading to the exit. I also need to focus up, like, yeah. Attack me. Ah, you're slowed. Okay. I know you're still on Mega Potions. Though, to be fair, it doesn't matter all that much. You can buy the potions outside. Technically, these are better because they're faster. And the big mistake that I made there was not having my food up. I'm curious, just how much of a difference is that? Like, let's see. Let's see. Oh, it's 10%. I'm an idiot. It's just straight up 10%. But yeah, it's a sizable chunk of HP. Yeah, but let me move you over there. Okay. That actually counted. So I'm sure that we're getting. What's the next thing we even get? Oh, just our upgraded normal combo. Yay! Oh yeah, see, there's the X potion, so I guess we can upgrade. Okay. That would have been very sad. Let's actually use this affluence. It's a really dumb idea to open that chest. Screw it. Might as well. Excuse me. You suck. Yeah, man. Come on, buddy. Going on a trip. Hey, normal combo, more damage. I'm determined to just throw this away. Come on. Hurry up, regen. Oh, you two were just waiting there. Okay. Slowly but surely. Things will speed up significantly when we actually get to max level. We don't have to spend that time getting out. And then this is going to be the last 10 floors where we... That treasure room? There's a treasure room. Okay, mistakes were made. Oh god. Now that wouldn't actually have been that bad if I didn't pull that succubus. That's what made that dangerous. Also, I should have made sure I had arm's length for that, but yeah. I made that more dangerous than it should have. It also doesn't help that we had the damage down. That also made that harder. You got to be very careful when you do things like that. I should have popped the steel before doing it. I did that late. Because they still do attack. So I again forgot to do the fortune. So yeah, you always want to do a fortune. Probably, well, not probably. I should have popped a steel. That explosive being there means a some type of sign or safety. But a lust wouldn't have been a bad idea. But yeah, that retrospective. That's what you should have done. But yeah, big rooms like that aren't that bad. You can actually, for the most part, deal with it. That succubus coming around the corner when she did was very unfortunate. But yeah, it wasn't that bad. Yeah. Again, I should have had arms linked up. That would have made them all a lot slower in attacking, so it wasn't that bad. But it all worked out. Just making myself putting myself in a lot more danger than is necessary. I really need to get better at remembering to do those fortunes, though. Because I'm an idiot. That would have helped earlier. For the record, you don't have to deal with those treasure rooms like that. It's just, and I have the AoE. It was a decent way to do it. You can't just do it one by one. It'd take forever, but you can do it. Just for reference. And in all honesty, they should honestly take this slower. Also, I said honest like twice in a row. Should be taking this a lot slower than I am. And kind of rushing more than I should be. Mostly because that disconnect annoyed me. Like, it's around this time that you should kind of be respecting the traps, going around the edges of the rooms and things like that. Because while none of these enemies are particularly dangerous, they are going to start to hurt now. Also, you should take advantage of your tactician free damage mitigation. Ah, son of a... Ah, double son of a... Let me attack, let me attack, let me attack. Hence the whole I should be respecting traps things, by the way. I think the fact it's a dead run is also part of the reason why I'm not being as cautious. Because I don't think this run can go past 450 because of that disconnect. So, yeah. Be more careful than me, is what I'm saying. This is this Manor? No, this is like one of the earlier dungeons. I don't remember which one. Whoops. We're getting there slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. To that magic number of 58. Oh, hey. Well, the mimics are now silver chests. That's something to keep in mind. They don't. Good job for your potions. That was a cat. Hey, look, an explosive trap. Okay. Come on, pot shard. X potion. Circuit, I think you can line of sight at that. You can! Oh, we have 2 roamers out there. Whoops, shouldn't have done that. Fun fact, by the way, if you're blinded, and if you've done the Blue Mage Carnival, you'll know this, and I just think it because of these enemies. If you're inflicted by the blind debuff, you cannot be hit by lookaways. It makes sense, but it's just a fun little interaction. There's a lot of fun little interactions in the game that you don't think about. Sure, let's swap the strength. Yeah, I think that's something you gotta do in one of the boss critical engagements, thinking about it. Nope, wrong way. That is just a cat scream. And now we get the fun ability! Plus we still have 2 more levels we gotta get before we can just start skipping things. And how short of a, like, cooldown drill is. Wow, there's a chest in that well. Yeah, I think like these last 20 floors, honestly, there's not that much of note here except the bosses. So I don't have much to talk about, honestly. Okay. What is this for? 6? Hey, 36. I'm paying attention to the 4 number. That's well. Oh, wait, these nightmare monks, I think, oh wait, no, I think it might be a different dungeon. Actually, oh, yeah, no, they do have that. That can be potentially dangerous depending where they're at when that happens. They can pull you into other enemies, and that can be very dangerous. Plus, yeah. Any attack that sucks you in is always going to be questionable, to say the least. So, not that dangerous, but just be wary of where you're fighting it. Because if you're really unlucky, it'll suck you into like an explosive trap and you just die. Not an explosive trap. I'm a frog, I'm a frog, I'm a frog. I'm a frog, I'm a frog, I'm a frog. I'm a frog, I'm a frog. I am a frog. Frog, 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 frog. Frog, 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 frog. Frog, 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 frog. Drill. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Oh no. Okay, on to the next floors. So we should hit max level of 60 before we get to the next boss. Which is the goal. Sprint disabled. That's annoying. Rage. Why not? This is dumb, by the way. I should, like, realistically just save this. Dun, 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 dun. Especially since this is a really small floor. It's actually not a bad idea to start using the flights now. Never punished. Actually, that's a lie. I was punished earlier in this. What are you? Steel. Convenient. Yeah, so since we use that flight, the number of enemies on this floor that we have to kill is greatly reduced. And with that enemy, nah, it's gonna be one more. Yeah. Hey! Why not? Actually, I might as well. No, that's I was about to say. I might as well start using those alterations. And well, yes, that's not a horrible idea. Since, like I said, this is a dead run. As soon as I get to 50, I can't really do much more with it. This is 138. I should not use an intuition. And we're officially level 60. So what that means is we can speed run this last floor. And that's it. Also, I forgot how disappointing the level 60 ability is. It's just slug. Okay. So we no longer have to kill every enemy. We just have to kill enough enemies to get to the next floor, meaning that we can take this a lot faster now. Da. Oh, it's the gourmets. Auto attacked him. We didn't actually have to kill this man. I think they hurt, but there's nothing particularly dangerous about them. They're also undead, so I think you can walk past them. But that was incredibly stupid, by the way. I would have died if that exploded. That was. I'm getting too big for my britches. But anyways, we can leave now because the exit is open, and we have the boss that is probably going to get the most people killed. Not because it's a hard boss, but because it's very easy to make a very simple mistake. So, we're going to actually show off the whole lust thing in this fight. So we're going to begin, and get up close. So we're going to hit the boss 5 times with lust. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now, we're just going to kite around the edge of the arena. And, I'm personally going to save my rook here. Okay, so this is the thing that people are going to mess this up, is you have to kill these ads as soon as possible. Because if you don't kill them quick enough, they're going to cast an attack that will make it so you're guaranteed to die to one of the next attacks the boss is about to do. So, yeah. Now, any second now, he is going to use an attack. Okay, he's going to go to the middle. He's going to use Scream. Now, if the ads were alive, they would use an attack that would take you to like 1 HP or something along those lines. And you wouldn't survive that. So, yeah, you have to kill the ads as soon as possible so you don't die to that. Other than that, just keep your distance away from the boss. So try to do a couple auto attacks, as long as you keep your distance. It's not that bad. And like, this is greedy. I'm gonna go to kill the boss. I should be focusing the ads, but I think I can kill them before they go off, so it's, yeah. Yeah, and so that's that boss. Just make sure to kill the ads, and, yeah, keep your distance away from the boss, and that one's really not that bad. The big mistake people are gonna make with that one is not killing the ads as soon as possible, because if you let them live, you are going to die. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. That is the wrong button. Okay, and so we have the last 10 floors that we're going to go over tonight. I was originally going to go more than 50, but that disconnect kind of ruined that plan because, again, dead run. And I'll probably do more palace runs in the future. Just to see how far I can get solo, maybe go for that title. Though, like I said, if I'm going to go for one, it'd probably be Orthos, because like I said, I want a treasure room. A treasure room. Let's be daring. There we go. See, that's what a little bit of... Also, my food fell off again, so I made that even extra dangerous on myself for that boss as well. You gotta remember to keep your food on, unlike me. I made that a bit more dangerous too, because that's like an extra 800 health or some crap like that. But yeah, that's how like easily you can deal with treasure rooms with your AoE. Now, as you get into the higher levels, not so much. A lot more dangerous, but yeah. Also, I forgot to use the fortune again. I'm so bad about it. I'm so bad about using the fortunes in treasure rooms. Ah. Oh boy, purity. So bad about it. Manticores, they're somewhat dangerous. They have untelegraphed attacks that really hurt. That's the big thing about them. Nothing particularly too bad though. Oh wait. Also, yeah. So we clear that treasure room, so we don't gotta kill things. We can just leave. We just gotta find the exit now. Ah, darn. I was gonna go for that silver chest, but also don't care enough. I should, by the way, but eh. And there's the exit. Ow. Also, since like I said, we're done with this, so we can actually start just abusing Palmanders. That's another thing. If you're just going for the checkpoint, it's these last 10 floors. You can basically just use your safeties, your sights, your flights at will. You're just trying to get, you know, just get it done. We. Yeah. Another flight. Oh boy, Palmander Purity. That's what I wanted. What? Ah, crap. I'm a toad, I'm a toad, I'm a frog, I'm a frog, I'm a frog. I'm a frog, I'm a frog, I'm a frog. I'm a defenseless frog. Don't bully the frog. Leave the frog alone. Stop chasing the frog. Stop it. Ow. Who cuts a defenseless frog? Rude. What you get? The fact that that's what opened the door is funny. Could you kindly not turn around, sir? Thank you. It's always nice when the enemies want to be cooperative. Do another flight. Ah, blind. That one's annoying. Not that bad, but it's annoying. Specifically if you have combos. The wraiths can be somewhat annoying if I remember correctly. It also might be thinking of their future counterparts. I think I'm thinking of their future counterparts. They're annoying in conjunction with chimeras. Let's see. Hello, sir. I'd like to remember what you do. Any day now. Oh, yeah, you do that. Okay, you're not that bad. You just gotta be careful of that. Stop missing. Oh, we can leave now. That's nice. Maybe might as well. Whee! One of you's looking at it, the other's not. Yeah, good. It's not in there, so I don't have to care. Ah, crap. I should have been using these earlier. Ah, crap. Oh, well. Fun fact, I'm pretty sure the boot is a sound enemy because it doesn't have eyes. No. Might as well. Hey, it didn't explode. Positives. I was about to say, what do you mean? Hey, Cursor Toward. As well. Boot. No. Hiding around the corner. Well then. I'm still expecting each one of them to explode. These gravekeepers can be slightly annoying because they jump on you and they can hurt. As roaming enemies, just be careful of. Oh, can we leave? There it is. Oh, 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 oh. Almost signed Molten Death War there. Yeah, that notarized and everything. It was almost incredibly unfortunate. And it would have been completely my fault. Oh yeah, fun fact, if you're transformed, you can't be toted. Can be innervated though. And yeah, you can't open chests while you're transformed. I do love the whack. Don't mind me, don't mind me. Nah, crap, you minded me. Ah, crap, okay, well. You know what? We have these for a reason. Really, game? Actually, I shouldn't be aiming that way. Crap, I aimed that way. Screw it, we'll let the witching go. The thing I do for affluence is... That's not an affluence, that's a branded, that's a cursed word. It'd help if I actually got the things right. So that regen... Wait, I did a safety, I'll fine. Is it at all possible that I... No, it is not. I tried. I gave it my best effort. Okay. Last lore. Oh, no. I'm really lucky with this. Whack. Whack. For the record, I think that's alluring. Or I'm just wrong again, which is very possible. Whack. Whack. It's such a satisfying sound. Slowly but surely. Whack. Whack. You would conveniently be in the... You would. Darn. Don't mind me, Mr. Dragon. Just minding my own business. Okay, and floor 50. Gonna wait about 8 seconds. Let our rearm get back up. And then we'll begin the fight off with a lust as before. You know, take advantage of that stacking buff. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, this boss, again, honestly not that bad. I should have technically waited until my mend was off. That's a mistake. I got food on. That's a positive. Oh, I stood in things. I'm being bad again. Look away. Okay. Health. Yeah, so I should have definitely waited until my second wind was back up. That was a mistake on my part. I got my food up, which is definitely bad on my part. Did I get hit by that? Okay. So you just kind of want to stay relatively close, and that could have mid-range with her. Ready to heal. Not that bad. And then, obviously, just keep hiding. Wait. Just keep moving. It's just the raid wide. Look away. Use our potion. Yeah. Honestly, outside of that, like, she doesn't do all that much damage, honestly. So as long as you're not unnecessarily standing and stuff, not wasting your resources, it's not that bad. Again, try to stay in like a mid-range with her. That way, anytime she does in health, you're able to get close to it. That's the thing that might get you. So you do want to be careful with that. Look away. Take advantage of our potion. Just keep moving. Dodge the in health. We'll use the tactician because I think she'll follow up with like a... she does another in health. Bloop. I gotta listen to my own advice. I almost... Yeah, agreed. But yeah, no. Honestly, it's not that bad of a fight in the slightest. Just avoid unnecessary damage. Stay, like, within this range over. That way you can easily dodge either her in or out. And it's, with that, you'll have your checkpoint. You die already? Thank you. That's the checkpoint. And so, like I said, once you finish this, you'll get, like, you'll get your guaranteed pot shard. You'll get whatever bags you have, and that's the checkpoint unlocked. Unfortunately, I wanted to do more, except I had a 30-minute delay, or 30-minute detour because of the disconnect. And the run is unfortunately dead because, yeah. Okay, so it's floor 100 and something, and it'd be dead. Which is unfortunate. But, oh well. We'll do more later at a separate point. I'm gonna reset this, and we'll try for it. Show off a couple other things before we end off tonight. Let's get our cursed hordes, because why not? Let's see what we get. What we get? Boo. Boo. We had effectively nothing. So this is where you can turn in your pot shards. Obviously, the sustained potions are high priority. And then you have the disembodied head here. I'm gonna pick up this music roll because I don't have either of them. I don't have the minions either. I should have done that. But yeah, these are high priority. You get 20%. They're good. They make your life significantly easier. If you manage to get one pot shard in like your first 20 floors, then the rest of it's just easy. Like, yeah, it's not even close. Like, the amount of healing that these give you, and it's a really short cooldown, if I remember correctly. Yeah, this is a 15-second cooldown. These things can easily, easily get you back to full health without any question. So, for reference, like, any of those times that you saw, like, I was struggling with healing, like with the Hydra, because I'm an idiot and I forgot to put on my damage, or put on my food, and I just wasn't being smart with how I was kiting and stuff. Yeah, not even an issue if you have a sustaining potion. Like, not even the slightest. And that goes with, like, any of that. So, for example, other things I didn't show is that, you know, although both those, like, treasure rooms that I did that were somewhat sketchy with the amount of damage that I was taking, with a sustain potion, absolutely, it's not even an issue. And I'll show that off when we do it in the future. The whole like thing with how it interacts with the transformations and things like that, because it is a regen. You hit it on, you put it on before, and you transform. It's extra durability. So, but yeah, no, that's the first 2 floors. I was originally gonna do more, but like I said, we had that unfortunate little incident. I mostly wanted this to like be something that people could look at if they were having problems with, or just wanted more details in the Palace of the Dead guide. But thanks for watching. Tomorrow we'll be doing the FC events, or our FC event that we do every Saturday. This time we'll be doing achievements. So we'll be going for things. I mean, immediately I think we're gonna be going for like the triple triad cards, getting people the jelly toast ideally. And I totally didn't suggest this event because I need I need a certain two cards that are infinite, kind of famous for being annoying. Where are they? Yeah, management. No, but like people actually seemed really interesting. I don't know what all we're going to do achievement wise. We'll see what people want to do. But yeah, the idea is to go for the cards if at all possible. I'll probably also see about showing people how to get the Mask Carnival achievements if that's something they're interested in. But we'll see tomorrow. Monday, I think I'm going to do a similar stream like this, except with Heaven on High, and then next Friday I'll do it with Eureka Orthos. And then after that, I don't know what we're going to do. I might continue this like idea of streaming basically bonus guides for some of my other things. Like I could I mentioned this earlier, but do a stream of the how to solo like blue mage content, like dungeons and the treasure maps. I also might end up making a video relatively soon, or this is an if, because I got to do some more experimenting with it, for how to solo the Shadowbringers trials. I know that you can do Ruby Weapon because someone asked in one of my videos if you could do it with if you could do it, and I actually tested it with Ruby Weapon and it is definitely possible. I was able to do it. But I had to test it because I don't know how like doing it solo with Titania is gonna go because the ad phase and like the guaranteed wipe. So that's something I'll have to test with. That might be something that I do in the future with these streams. I might also just stream actual runs going for the titles. If I do, that'll probably start with Eureka Orthos because that's just I want the Once and Future King. Like I said, that's a cool title. But yeah, no, that's basically it for tonight. I think for all those who watched, I hope that it was helpful and whatnot. I hope you enjoyed my pain and suffering as I get disconnected on the last floor before the boss But yeah, no, joking aside, thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.